be more than human.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Joseph Carroll. I write under the pen name J.R. Carroll. And today we're going to do something we haven't done for a while. And it's the video idea is something I had already kind of been thinking about. But then I seen one of the booktubers that I subscribe to doing a tag called the Behind The Booktube Tag. And I was like, well, most of these questions are kind of what I wanted to answer about being on booktube in general. So I figured, why not just go ahead and do it and read off through their questions so I don't have to write a bunch of questions up myself. So we're going to just kind of jump right into it. I'm not sure how many questions there are, but we'll try to make this one as quick as possible, not keep you on here too long. So the first question is, what has surprised you about booktube, both good and bad? Obviously, the best thing about booktube is interacting with all of you, and interacting with other members of the booktube community. And I've even started to kind of reach out a little bit beyond booktube into like media. I just did an interview with Greg Owen, who does do some book reviews, but mainly he reviews movies, and television. And just being able to interact with people. This Sunday I'm going to be doing an interview with Sarah from Sarah Reads. She's one of my favorites. That's my favorite thing about being on booktube, and being able to share my excitement about my favorite books. Booktube, bad things about booktube. There's not a lot. I mean, and the like our little corner over here of booktube is mostly positive. I have seen, and every once in a while I'll run into a channel or a corner of booktube that's pretty negative, and where they just want to be kind of nose up in the air, we're this book is terrible and that book's terrible and that book's popular, so it must be bad. But I don't know. I don't like. It's not an everyday occurrence. Most of the people the circles that we go in, it's mostly positive. And if there are some negatives, it's not really like putting the author down as much as just saying why it didn't work for us. Question number 2: how do you balance reading and booktube with the rest of your life? Well, I am lucky that the job I have pretty much allows me to listen to stuff all day, and I can, and then I can stop and kind of read ebooks on my phone if I want. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect my life too much. I'm the type of person that's always busy. I'm always doing stuff. I don't like I don't I not anymore. I don't play video games like I used to. If I do, it's very quick. It might be an hour or two a week. I'm mostly either like I'm reading, I'm writing my books. I coach, coach my son's football team. We're always doing stuff out here. And that's just my personality. Like, I like to stay busy, so it really doesn't interrupt my life too much. Some people, I know some other people who are like, man, you do way too much stuff. So maybe for a lot of people it would be, but for me, I just like to stay busy in general. Number 3, have you ever thought about starting a Patreon? Well, I have started a Patreon. And it'll be linked below. I probably should have waited a little while more to start it, until my channel got rolling a little bit more. But there is a Patreon. It is pretty cool. My 4th book is a collection of short stories. But if you join my Patreon, you can pick books for me to put on my TBR, and I will read them. So that's a quick. And with there not being anyone on the Patreon yet, if you're the first person to sign up, and you put down for a book for me to read for the month, at least you'll get it in the first month, guaranteed. But also with those short stories, you will have access to the short story, and if you go to the top tier, I will even write you into one of my books as a character. There's all kinds of cool stuff, and there's a video attached to it, so you can watch the whole video. And if you want to be a Patreon, you will not only support the channel here, which is great, but you will also, help with books. And depending on, down the road, if Patreon becomes a really big thing, it's basically, I'm not keeping any of the money. It's either going towards better equipment for the channel, editors and narrators and stuff for the books, or it's going back to you in the form of giveaways. So the more we have here, it'll almost turn into a lottery. If we have a bunch of Patreons, well, I would be giving away a lot of stuff because I'm not keeping the money for myself. 4, have you made any mistakes on BookTube? So many. I've made all kinds of mistakes, as you do. I've seen some channels, and I kind of peeked as I'm looking over here, I'm seeing some other questions, and they were all kind of run together. But yeah, when I started off, and this is another thing I have learned, and I think there's a question over here that says like, what advice would you give? But yeah, like YouTube gives you a little boost when you first start, and I should have taken advantage of that. And like my first 2 videos were like not great videos. They didn't really they weren't for the channel. They were, for other stuff I was doing. So I kind of blew my initial algorithm kick in the butt. So yeah, I've made some mistakes for sure. Do you have any advice for a new booktuber? And so I have all kinds of advice for someone who wants to start a booktube channel. Advice number 1, if you want to start a channel, go ahead and start a channel. Don't let anything stop you from doing so. I use my phone to do these videos. You can use a phone. You can use your web. I've seen people just use webcams. But my second advice is have 3 videos ready to go. Drop 3 videos at one time. I did not do this, but if you drop 3 videos at once and people watch your first video, they will automatically have a second and a third video to go and see instead of one video, and then who knows how long it'll take you to get your next video up. It may take you a week or whatnot, and by then they may, it's like they come and they go. So you gotta, how they say, be consistent. Well, it helps you to be consistent if you already have 3 videos on there for people to keep rolling and stuff. So that is just a technical thing, not necessarily what to do within BookTube, but what to do on BookTube. What are your thoughts on the YouTube algorithm? I don't know. The big things you always hear is good content, good thumbnail, good title. The thumbnail gets them in. Thumbnail and the title is what will draw people to click, and then you have to entertain them from there on out. But yeah, sometimes the algorithm catches some things and sometimes it doesn't. I've had some videos that I thought were really good and just never got traction. Then I've had other videos that I didn't think were all that great and they did really well. So, still learning. How do you decide what videos to make? Well, kind of easy. I try to review almost every book that I do. So there's that. I want to be like one of these places where you can come and always get book reviews, because I think that's the backbone of BookTube. And then more recently, I've been doing opinion pieces and stuff, and some history pieces because I really love history. Um, and and sometimes I'll kind of look and see what other booktubers are doing, and like, oh, that's a cool, like this video right here. I kind of found it. I was like, okay, that's a cool video. Let's make it. So just research and then just whatever you feel, but make sure if you're on BookTube, try to get as many reviews out as you can, because that's what really helps people. Are you ever overwhelmed with video ideas? Sometimes I'll get on a kick where I have a bunch of ideas, and then I'm like, oh, okay, and then you try to figure out, is it a good idea? How can I make it happen? I have some bigger ideas. Like I want to go out on the street and do some videos, but that's kind of logistics and stuff, so we'll see. But I'm trying to do more interviews, and then I want to get on the street and do some stuff. So stay tuned. Have you regretted posting a video? That's a good question. I mean, like I said, recently I have done some opinion pieces, and I guess those would be the ones that would have a chance of you regretting. I mean, I don't know why you would regret posting a review unless it was a ranting review and then you felt bad about it. No, I can't say. The only thing I regret posting maybe my first 2 videos again, because it just didn't help. It didn't really help me at the beginning. But I stand by all my videos. I have never deleted a video off of YouTube. So if you believe in what you're doing, then you shouldn't regret it. Are the number of videos, a number of views / subscribers meaningful to you? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I hope one day that my videos get thousands of views, and hopefully one day, I crack 10,000 subscribers or whatever. I mean, that would be great. Yeah, like we all want to see our numbers go up, right? Because that means more interaction. That actually probably means more than necessarily the subscriber count. Is I want to have more interaction. So the videos that I do that get a lot of interaction, those are my favorites. The more comments, the more likes, those are my favorite videos to do. Are the number of views, subscribers a measurement of success? In a way, yeah. I mean, the more views, the more subscribers you get, the more successful you're becoming as a YouTuber. But I mean, if you're measuring success by interactions and stuff like that, that's successful. I'm a writer. I write. I got on here. I was a writer before this, so if this is helping people find my books, then that is successful. So that's how I would gauge success. Are you disappointed by the growth on your channel? At times I've been overwhelmed by the growth, and other times I've been disappointed by the growth. Around the holiday season, my channel just completely blew up, and then other times it kind of waxes and wanes. But like I said, this isn't my full-time job, so I'm not too disappointed of it. But we have the ups and downs. I'm sure I'll have another spike that I didn't expect and be like, wow, that's great. Have you ever thought about quitting BookTube? No, I've never thought about quitting BookTube. I don't know. I know some people get burnt out real bad after they've been on. It's weird. It seems like that 2 to 3 year on BookTube really burns people out. I haven't really felt the burnout yet. Just sometimes, sometimes you're like, oh, I want to get more videos out, or I can't do a video, or like coming up in October, my videos will probably be down because I'm gonna start my 5th book, so that's gonna take a lot of time. I won't be able to read as much, but no, never thought about quitting, not yet. Cross our fingers. What are the most touching comments? Yeah, just when people say that, my reviews really help them, or people are like, whenever I do an opinion piece and people agree with me and they say, "Oh man, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks this way." I mean, those are my favorite comments. I help you find a book that you like, um, and then also you're not the only one that thinks the way you think. Those are the best. What are the most negative comments? I mean, I don't get a lot of negative comments on some of my opinion pieces. We'll have some debate inside, which I love. I mean, so, maybe they don't agree with me, so that's negative, I guess. But I don't feel like it's that way. So not a lot of negative on this end. In regards to BookTube, where do you see yourself in 5 years? 5 years is a long time. I would love to still be doing this in 5 years. In fact, I'd love to have turn my office into a studio. I think that would be great. To just be bigger and be able to do more things. I'd love to have like live interviews and stuff. Maybe I'll be making a lot more money in 5 years and be able to fly people in or go meet people and do live interviews. But yeah, that is the end of the book tag. Anybody who is a booktuber that would like to do this tag, do it. Anybody who's on BookTube that would like to hang out, do interviews with me, or have me over on your channel, you be on my channel, that's what I love. Check out the Patreon. Check out my books, More Than a Vampire, More Than a Gunslinger. In October, I'm releasing More Than a God War. All kinds of cool stuff going on. Thank you for watching, and remember, be more than human.